Yes, yes, yes. Woo! We're going to be making a smoothie today. Very excited for that. Let's go live on Instagram as well. Yes, we are excited for this morning. It's morning. Welcome to live on Instagram, live on YouTube. There's only 2 days left to get the vegan health bundle. So if you've been meaning to get it, this is your chance to get it. Today, we're going to be going over a raw vegan culinary technique that we have inside our brand new Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook that we launched in the vegan health bundle. So if you want to get that new ebook, if you want to get 6 things from Nate and I, including the sushi book and Nate's cracker book, and our 3 classes, we have a video class teaching you exactly how to make the wraps in there. All of it, plus the other 70 downloads from other people, is $49. And the link is in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Or if you're here on Instagram, just go to the link in my bio and grab the bundle. Again, there's only 2 days left after today. You've got Saturday and Sunday, and that's it. And the bundle will be gone. So go grab it. So today we're going to talk about infusion. So inside our Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook, we have a chapter called Infusion, and it's pretty simple, but it can make a big difference in flavor and add a little extra boost of nutrition to your blends. Now, infusion would be, it's super simple. It's cold brewing tea. So last night, I have this little tea ball, this metal tea ball. Last night, I put some hibiscus tea in the tea ball and I just poured some clean water and I let it sit on the windowsill in the moonlight. So it got to infuse overnight. And this is a great way to add some herbs into your smoothies or sauces or whatever flavor you have in here will be a flavor in the smoothie or sauce or whatever. Like you could fill this with, say, rosemary and thyme and sage and use the water as the water to blend a dressing, for example. You could fill it with basil and oregano and you could use that water to blend your marinara. So it's a great way to infuse some herbals into whatever you're making. Do you have this tea recipe on your page? So this is just hibiscus tea. And this recipe for the smoothie, we do have a couple infusion smoothie recipes inside the Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook that we just released inside the Vegan Health Bundle. So if you want to get that ebook, the best place to get it is in the bundle because for $49, you're not only getting that ebook, but you're getting 5 other things from Nate and I, and there's 70 downloads total. 70 downloads for $49. That's access to video content from other creators, our sushi book and all that. Like $49 is a ridiculously low price for the bundle because if you were to buy everything separately, it would be $4,638. So, but you only pay $49 and you get a link to download anything or all of the stuff that you see in the bundle. So go grab the bundle. The link is in the description box below of this YouTube channel, or if you're watching on Instagram, the link is in my bio. So head on over to the link in my bio, grab the bundle, and you'll get the ebook that talks about all the culinary techniques that we use as raw vegans. And cold brewing is one of them. And we don't talk about it often enough because I don't know why we don't, but it's such a really cool thing to do. So what we have here is I like to do about, just over 2 cups for the liquid for our smoothies because this smoothie recipe is for 2 people. And you can play around with the amounts. You don't have to do the exact same recipe, but use the base and play around with different teas, different berries, different whatever you want in your smoothie. So we're going to start with roughly about 2.5 cups of this cold brewed infusion. It's just hibiscus tea. Again, that I filled up the water, the amount of water that I wanted for the smoothie, which is roughly 2.5 cups. And I put the tea in a tea ball and I just let it sit on the counter on the windowsill. I didn't have to use hot water, so it's raw, right? So you get the flavor and some of the herbal benefits in here. And so we start with water. I always like to put water first in the blender. And then we're gonna do dates next. So dates, Here's some dates that we get these dates from Costco. They're medjool dates, and we do recommend um, pitting every single date. Like make sure that your date doesn't have a pit in it when you put it in the blender. Make sure because it can wreck your blades and it can wreck your smoothie. So we're gonna put, let's do like 10 dates. So each date is roughly 50 calories. It depends on the size. They can range. But each date, if you want to say it's roughly 50 calories. So 10 dates is 500 calories just in the dates, just in the dates. And the goal is to have a very calorie dense smoothie with fruit first thing in the morning so you can get your energy for the day. It's wonderful. So there's our, what was that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. 7, 8. And a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, that's a lot of sugar. But it's whole fruit, and most people are not eating enough fruit in general. Dr. Greger says that's the number one thing we can do to help improve our health is eat more fruit. Eat more fruit. And because we follow a low-fat diet, the fruit doesn't affect us the same. I'm just going to rinse my fingers. So fruit is fine. That's something that we can really work on, is the fear of fruit. A lot of people have fear of fruit because diet culture has us scared of sugar. Now, there's two different main camps of sugar. There's fruit sugar and then there's ultra processed sugar. When we talk about sugar being bad, we're talking about this category. This category of sugar, the sugar without fiber, the sugar without nutrition, the sugar that's combined with high fat. These sugars are not ideal for humans. The fruit sugar, however, is on the complete other side of the spectrum, and fruit sugar is actually beneficial for us. So don't be scared of fruit. Don't be scared of a smoothie like this that's 100% fruit. It's so good for our energy levels. And if you want to be able to do high fruit, you need to do low fat. Can I send you some sea moss? Oh, we always like some sea moss. In fact, speaking of sea moss, let me go grab some. We use lots of different brands of sea moss, and this is one that we have. Sea moss is amazing added to smoothies. Not only does it add like a silkiness to the smoothie, but it adds those trace minerals and everything your body needs to make collagen. So usually around a tablespoon a day is what you need for one person. You don't need to do more than that. And since this is for Nate and I put about 2 tablespoons of sea moss in there. Again, a great way to get more nutrition in you. So we've got our bananas here. We're doing 4 bananas. Now you could do more, obviously. This one's giving me a hard time. And these ones are ripe bananas. I like to use really ripe bananas in the smoothie because then you get more of that sugar. Um, and just to let you know, green bananas are not bad. Green bananas actually have resistant starch in them. And a lot of people who are on like a high fruitarian diet will say, never eat green bananas. And I used to say that too, way back in the day when I first started, because I was like, oh, we can't have green bananas. But the new research that's coming out about the microbiome is showing that green bananas are actually really beneficial to our gut microbiome. So if you have green bananas and you like them when they're a little more firm, that's totally cool. You don't have to eat them when they're ripe like this. When they're ripe like this, however, they're really nice in a smoothie because they add that extra sweetness. We have a comment on YouTube that says, I plan to lift weights 5 days a week in a raw vegan diet, high fat and fruit. I would not do a high fat diet if you're going to be eating lots of carbs. The reason is that when you have a smoothie like this, when you eat a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens, a lot of carbs, you need your insulin to be functioning properly. And when you do high fat, you're blocking the insulin from getting sugar into your cells. You're going to feel tired. You're not going to have as much energy because your cells aren't getting the sugar that they need. So it's super important to do low fat, high carb, low fat, fruit, vegetables, that kind of thing. If you're doing high fat, you're going to be forced to limit your fruits and vegetables, which is not ideal in my opinion. There's not as many nutrients in fat compared to fruits and vegetables. So it's better to eat more fruits and vegetables to get all your calories than to rely on fats to get your calories in. And Nate and I both have gained muscle mass, and we don't even work out in the gym regularly. We just do our weighted vest walks. So I have a 16-pound weighted vest that I walk with an extra backpack on top. So I carry around anywhere from 20 to 24 pounds when I do my walks. And Nate carries a 20-pound plus his backpack. And we gained muscle mass just from our weighted vest walks on a raw vegan diet. So protein isn't a worry. It's more about getting enough calories in your day. So if you're eating high fruit, high vegetable, you have to limit your fat down if you want your insulin to work properly. Because if you're eating a lot of fat and you're eating fruit, that can set you up for pre-diabetes. It's just how the body works. If there's more fat in the bloodstream in the body, it's going to prevent insulin from actually getting that into your body. So yes, definitely you're going to want to make sure that you eat enough. That's going to be key. And Nate and I both follow a lower fat diet with high fruits and vegetables. And his protein test results, like when he was in the hospital over the summer, he had a blood test because he was in the hospital. And his protein was 7.7, which is on the high end of normal. So his protein is totally fine, and he gets enough calories. They comment, reply, thanks, but I want to be a natural bodybuilder. I don't need higher fat, nuts and seeds as an aspiring raw vegan bodybuilder. You need calories. Now, we don't need to get them from fats because that, again, is going to cause insulin issues. If you're doing bodybuilding, you're going to need to eat a lot of fruit, vegetables, and tons of greens and tons of vegetables, sprouts, like lentil sprouts and chickpea sprouts and things like that. Eat more calories from this category and keep your fats at an appropriate amount. Around maybe 15% of your calories coming from fats. So that would be my suggestion. You don't need to focus on eating so many of the fats because it's going to lower your energy. Your workouts won't be as oomphy because, your insulin's going to be sluggish. And in order for your muscles to do what they do, they need sugar. Glucose is your muscle's energy, and glucose is your brain's energy too. If you want to have healthy brain function and clarity, glucose is going to be there for your brain and your muscles. So when you're lifting in the gym, that's why it's ideal to have a little bit of fruit before a workout, because your muscles have that energy to actually do the workout. But when you're eating high fat and your insulin's not getting the sugar into your cells properly, then your muscles get lethargic. So again, high fruit, high vegetables. Sprouts are going to be amazing. Again, lentil sprouts, chickpea sprouts, mung bean sprouts, all of those. Have lots of those with your salads, lots of greens, lots of vegetables, and your fruit, obviously. But then keep your fat percentage at an appropriate amount, around 15% of your total calories if you're doing weightlifting. So hope that helps there. Pamela says, how many strains of sea moss are there? What's the difference? I don't know. There's probably hundreds, and every single company has the best sea moss according to them. So I personally don't get caught up in which sea moss is the best. I just get whatever sea moss and I use that. Because again, there's things that I look for, obviously, like hand harvested is really good. Organic, if they can prove it's organic, because if it's from the sea, I mean, they can't prove that it's organic. But yeah, hand harvested is usually the one I look for. And again, like I said, there's so many brands out there, and every single brand says theirs is the best. So I just don't, I don't worry about that. I just get whatever sea moss and I make that. And we talk about sea moss inside the Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook, which is in the Vegan Health Bundle. So go grab the bundle, please. If you haven't yet, go check it out because there's only 2 days left to get that. Do you and Nate offer meal plans? So we have some set meal plans already. These are not in the bundle, they're in our ebooks. So if you're watching on Instagram, you can send me a DM and I'll get you the link to our ebooks. But if you're watching on YouTube, the link to our ebooks is in the description box below. And we have 3 meal plans. Meal plan 1, 2, and 3. Meal plan 3 has no dehydrator and no nuts for those who have nut allergies. Because I had a lot of people say, they're allergic to almonds and tree nuts. So I wanted to make a recipe meal plan that didn't have any nuts for those specific people. So instead of nuts, we use seeds, avocado, and young coconut. But again, everything is low fat. We follow a low fat diet plan. And so, yeah, if you need 3,000 calories, then use Chronometer to track your calories. And yeah, those are available in our ebook store, payhip.com/rawfoodromance. Okay, so let's get back to our smoothie here. We have 2.5 cups of the infused water, which is a hibiscus tea that we infused overnight. And then we have 10 dates. We have 4 bananas. And we are going to cut the rind off of this lime. And we really like adding lime to our fruit smoothies. Not only do you get the nutrition from the lime, and we always like to leave like a little bit of zest in there too. So it has that little lime zest and limonene. There's a lot of nutrition in the zest. So we do like to leave like a little section in there, just like this. Leave a little section. So put a lime in there. And that is so nice. And the ends, I like to squeeze the ends. Whoops. I could leave that in there, but not that much zest. But I do like to try to get as much juice out of the ends as I can before we add the other stuff. Because I like them tart. So if you don't want to add lime, you don't have to, but we enjoy it. And then for the berries, we have about 1.5 cups of wild blueberries. And again, you don't have to follow these exactly. And every day we have different amounts of different things. So we don't really follow an explicit recipe either. But then we have this bowl of frozen fruit. There's mango, pineapple, peach, and strawberry mix in here. And then sometimes we like to add another berry as well, but I didn't grab those. We usually do maybe raspberries or cranberries or something like that, maybe extra strawberries in there. So you can add any other thing that you want in there. So yeah, I like to have the water level about this high, and then we blend. Oh, and there's also 2 tablespoons of Irish moss in here, and this is for 2 people, by the way. Here we go. Let's blend up this smoothie. All right. And that's how easy breakfast can be. So this smoothie, the total of this smoothie, okay, so we had 10 dates, which is 500 calories. Then we have 4 bananas, which is 400 calories. So that is 900 total. And then we probably have roughly 200 in the blueberries and the other fruit that we have in there. So altogether, it's roughly around 600 calories for this specific smoothie. So what did I say? 1,400. That means that it is like maybe 600 to 700 calories or 800 calories each. So here's our jars. Actually, move them back here so you can see on YouTube. Let's move them back. All right. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. So 900, 900 plus 200 would be about 1,100. I'm like, it's morning time. My brain needs the fuel. So here we go, our smoothies. And these are 32-ounce jars. So we each have, so it's basically, we made basically 64 ounces of smoothie. And we're each gonna have our 32-ounce jars. So there we go. Ooh, that's good. It's so good with the tea because you get that like tea flavor in there as well. So it's really nice to have something like that. Mm-hmm. Mm. So good. So good. Do you want to try your smoothie? I don't know if Nate can hear me. But that's, yeah, you want to try your smoothie? Of course. Come try your smoothie. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's so good. Of course, I'll try the smoothie. Taste the taste the hibiscus.
Hey.
Yeah. Taste the hibiscus in there.
Trying to do like the wine thing, you know?
Right.
That's good.
Right?
I miss that. We need to do that more.
With the tea. Yeah, infusion.
Mm.
So we talk all about the infusion technique inside the Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook, which is part of the Vegan Health Bundle. Again, link is in the description box below.
He's asking about these straws.
Oh,
These are so cool.
they're silicone straws. You can find them on Amazon.
I like the concept of a glass straw, but our teeth, you know?
Yeah, there was actually, I saw a reel of a girl who had a glass straw and somehow while she was drinking the smoothie, maybe it was a temperature change, broke a piece of the straw off in her smoothie at the bottom.
Yeah.
She was drinking the smoothie and she had to go to the hospital. It perforated her intestines and so we're like, nah, silicone is the way to go.
And metal too, I don't like the idea of metal too, just from the teeth. These are great. You can bite them. If you're a biter, you can just
we had some up here. I just can't.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, scroll back just a bit. Okay, is your basic recipe in the community group? We have so many smoothie recipes in the community. There's so many, and this recipe or something similar is in there too. Similar recipe is in the Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook as well. So yeah, the community is a great place to get recipes because we have a lot of exclusive ones in there. We have 50 classes that you can rewatch replays. There's over 400 recipes in the school community. And if you want the link, send me a DM if you're watching on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description box.
It is stacked. Vika says here, no nuts, no coconuts, nothing fat inside.
No, because the reason is earlier in this video, I was talking about the fats. I was talking about how when you're eating high fat, you have to limit your fruit because fat coats your cell and it's harder for insulin to get sugar from your bloodstream into your cell when fat is in the way. So we don't do fats in the morning. Sometimes we'll do it in the afternoon if we have like a wrap. You're welcome. If we have a wrap, we'll do some cashew cheese on there or whatever. Or in our dinner salad, we'll have like a little tahini or some cashews or whatever. Like for example, today for our late lunch, we're going to be making the after dark sushi rolls on not the recipe itself, but I'm going to be rolling them live because I'm going to go live with Dr. Carrie Henneman and we're going to talk about sushi. So we're going to have a little bit of fats in the later afternoon today, but we do not put fats in our smoothies. The only fat that I would feel comfortable putting in the smoothie would be chia. Maybe a teaspoon or tablespoon of chia seeds, but that's it. No coconut, no nuts, no fat, no almond milk, none of that. The reason is because we want our insulin to be functioning properly and we want to be able to get the sugar from our smoothie into our cells to use as energy. And when fat's in the way, everything just gets sluggish. So fats are better with greens. Fats are better with your evening meal. Fats are better with vegetables and sprouts and the really high fiber, dark leafies. We don't need fats to absorb a lot of the stuff from fruit. We don't need fats at all. Fruit just absorbs very easily, very quickly. Whereas with vegetables and greens and sprouts, we do need a little bit of fats, and you don't need a lot, just a little bit. with a little bit of fats with our greens to help absorb fat soluble vitamins that are typically found, like A, D, E, K. Those are found more in the vegetable kingdom, greens and stuff like that. So we want to have a little bit of fats with them so that we can absorb more of those fat soluble vitamins from the vegetables. Whereas again, with fruit, not needed. We don't need to have the fruit fat in here. And Nate and I follow a low fat diet because we eat a lot of fruit and a lot of greens and a lot of vegetables. So we want our insulin to be free to get the sugar into our cells without any issue. So we stick to having our fats in our evening meal for the most part. Again, sometimes we'll have a little bit of fats with our lunch, but we don't usually ever put fats in our smoothies. And it's pretty rare when we do like a raw vegan treat. We do that, where it's like dates and nuts and stuff in a little treat, but it's a small amount and we don't do that often. So again, yeah, nope. I mean, if we did add coconut, we might add like shredded coconut on the top just for pretty, or we use coconut water, which is a no fat, addition. You can use that instead of the tea. So yeah, that's a great question. No fat in the smoothies, no fat, just fruit, because we want that instant energy. It's so good. Um, yeah, XV says, always wondered how raw vegans enjoy tea without boiling water. Now, you can use boiling water. You would just you would boil the water and then let it cool until it's, warm to the touch or about 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you can use that warm water to brew your tea. You can totally do that. The whole goal is to use less amount of heat and not use like boiling stuff. So you can totally cold brew a tea. Just put water in there. You can use that lightly warmed water if you want to, as long as it's warm to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can put the tea in there and let it sit overnight to cold brew it. And then it's like infused water that you can use in your smoothies and your sauces or whatever, depending on the flavor that you have here. So that is such a great technique to add to your day. EP says, I am not a sweet person, so I find it challenging to be raw. I find a lot of raw foods love fruit. So yeah, we love fruit too, but we eat the vast majority of our volume comes from vegetables and sprouts. So yes, we have our fruit smoothie in the morning for our energy, and we do like whole fruit first thing. Like today was a little different because I went live to make the smoothie and we had to prepare and all that stuff. So we didn't do our walk this morning. But usually when we do our morning walk, we wake up. I have about 300 to 400 calories of whole fruit first thing for energy. For energy, I eat bananas or grapes or oranges or mangoes when it's mango time. We like live on the mangoes, but we eat about 300 or 400 calories of fruit first thing in the morning, and then we go for our walk. And then we come home and make a smoothie. So we have two breakfasts usually, and we aim to get about 1,000 calories worth of fruit before lunch. Then lunch and dinner are both savory. So if you're not a sweet person, you can still eat, get your calories from fruit because you need your calories. And vegetables are very low in calories. And we use dates in our dressings. And I know a lot of people will be like, dates in a salad dressing, but savory meals need a little sweet. And plus, we need the calories. So we do that. And it's still very savory to me. Again, I'm a savory person. I love anything savory. But I feel it needs a little bit of sweet to it to round out the flavor, but also give us those calories. Because if you're eating a giant salad with just lemon juice on it, you're maybe getting 150 or 200 calories, and that's not enough to sustain. Over time, it's going to be more challenging because you're not getting enough calories. Calories are key and variety is key. So it's very, very important. EP says, thank you for sharing that plan. What could I eat for savory breakfast? You can make a savory smoothie. You can make a raw soup. We have an ebook for raw soups, but again, you're going to use dates in the soup to make it more balanced flavor. Otherwise, it's going to be too bitter or bland, or it's not going to have that balanced roundness. So you're going to need to add dates. So you could blend a green smoothie. You could do something similar, have dates and bananas and stuff, and then add like a ton of kale or some spinach or other leafy greens. Some romaine is really good in there. You could make a tomato kind of a smoothie if you wanted to have like a savory V8 style, like tomato, dates, celery, uh, spinach. Maybe you could put, other vegetables that you want in there, maybe some carrots or what have you. and then blend a savory smoothie if you wanted to. But a lot of the savory breakfasts that we are used to in society are high fat, high salt, and animal products or refined products. So when we think about breakfast and we want a savory breakfast, we think bacon and eggs, or we think like waffles or something that's got like caramelized or like hash browns or something like that. We think omelet. But those things, that the problem with having a high fat savory breakfast in the morning is that you set your day up for insulin resistance. It's going to be a lot more challenging to choose a healthy dinner. It's going to be a lot less energy for you. And you know, the high fat thing, it just, I personally, I don't feel it works for the vast majority of people. There are always outliers on either side, and some people think they do fine on high fat, but if I've learned anything over the last 25 plus years in the natural health industry with all the diets that I've been exposed to, keto and carnivore and all those like the high fat diets do not withstand the test of time. People will go on them and they might feel okay in the first little bit, but then they always end up falling off because it's just not sustainable long term, and your insulin takes a hit. Like their pancreas is just working so hard trying to get any amount of carbohydrates or sugar that they're eating into their cells. So it's going to be really challenging. So I don't recommend having savory for breakfast. Just flip it. Do your fruit for breakfast, get that energy for the day, and then do low fat savory for lunch and dinner. And then you'll get the best of both worlds. You'll still be able to have your savory, but just shifting. And it's all habit. We run most of our decisions based on habit, based on conditioning, based on what we have our frames of reference for. So, all the choices that we've made in the past have built our moment right now. So when we crave a savory breakfast, when we crave high fat, when we crave all of these things, it's a reflection of our past habits and our current habits. So if we want to change and we want, like, I used to be in the same boat. I used to be like savory breakfast. I had bacon and eggs pretty much every single morning before I was raw, and that was my go-to. So when it was like, oh, smoothies, okay. I mean, they taste amazing for one, but it took a lot of like work to try shifting from the savory breakfast to the fruit breakfast. And EP says, I'll try crackers, raw crackers. I've tried fruit for a long time. Raw crackers, again, those are, unless you're making them just with straight up vegetables, they're going to usually be high fat. Again, you're coming into that problem where you're eating high fat, you're eating dry calories, which can, I don't find that the crackers would be ideal. Maybe if you had a smoothie and you had a cracker with it, just for that crunch, if you wanted to have one cracker, maybe just to feel that might be a better option for you. But I personally, if you're going to be doing raw, the fruit in the morning is going to be the most ideal, and staying low fat is going to be key. But a lot of the crackers, I mean, crackers are great, don't get me wrong, but it's about consuming the appropriate amount, not overdoing it, and not eating most of your calories just coming from that. We need to focus on produce as our main source of calories. So, doing your big salads, crumble the crackers, crumble a cracker in your salad if you want to get that crunch. But again, when you're combining fat and fruit, it's going to have an effect on your insulin. So be aware of that. If you do have a cracker, just have a small amount just to get that, little extra bit. Joanna says mulberries in the freezer dried give you a crunch. Yeah, that's a great idea too. Mulberries are good. We have some on YouTube here. You answered my question with the fats and when to eat. Thanks. You're very welcome. Yeah, we had another question on Instagram, so that's why I went into it again. And they say, I like the idea of to eat carbs before exercising early in the morning, and after exercise, eat higher fats and vegetables later in the day, not mixing seeds in my smoothies. Yes, exactly. So fruit before your workout, fruit after your workout, that's going to replenish your glycogen. And then for lunch, you have your light salad. And when I say light salad, I don't mean small salad. I mean light on the fat. That's what I mean. Big salad for lunch, light on the fat. We usually use chia seeds in our lunch dressing because the chia seeds give us the omega-3s, which are super important for every single cell in your body has a phospholipid layer, and we need those soft, pliable fats to have soft, pliable lipid layers of our cells so things can get in and out that are supposed to, and they're not rigid. Saturated fats make rigid cells, and we don't want that. We want soft, pliable cells like getting more omega-3s in our diet from chia. So chia works really good in our lunch salad. And then that's when we save our cashews or tahini or almond dressings or whatever for our evening meal with our greens and that kind of thing. So that will be that's the that's the way that we've been doing it for over 11 years. That's how we've been building muscle, and that's how we are able to sustain this for as long as we do, is we set up our day that way. And that's what we found over the last decade that we've been coaching people. That's the way that it seems to fit for most people. Not every meal give protein also. Every single fruit, there's protein in bananas. There's protein in dates. So I have a banana here. There's protein in dates. There's protein in berries. There's protein in greens. There's protein in sprouts. There's protein in herbs. There's protein in every single plant food out there. So it's not protein, it's amino acids, because amino acids are like Lego pieces. Think of protein as a strain of Lego pieces to make something, right? So when you eat a protein strain, your body snips it up into little Lego pieces, and then all those Lego pieces go in a big pool in your body. And so when your body is like, oh, hey, we need collagen over here, and oh, hey, we need muscle over here, the body goes to that pool and they take out the Lego pieces that they need to build collagen and build muscle. So when you eat plants, you're getting amino acids. And when you eat variety and you eat adequate amounts of calories, you're getting enough calories in your day, you're getting protein. Nate and I eat double the RDA of protein in our day. I eat roughly around 2,400 calories a day, and I get anywhere between 60 to 85 grams of protein for my whole day just from fruits and vegetables, a small amount of nuts and seeds and sprouts. So I don't need to have any protein powder or anything like that. The goal is eating enough, getting enough calories in, and eating variety. So a wide variety, fruits, vegetables, herbs, sprouts, greens, all kinds of stuff. Like the more variety, the better. Let's see. Let's see. We got some other questions here. Spirulina is the protein winner. Yeah, if you want to do spirulina, we don't do spirulina, but you can if you want to add a little bit of spirulina in. Why not mixing seeds? I like to put some seeds in my morning smoothies. So again, fat and fruit aren't the ideal combination. If you want to get the most out of your fruit smoothie, skip the seeds. Add those to your dinner, lunch, add those later in the day. You don't need them with fruit. Vegetables and greens need a little fats to help absorb some of the nutrients from them. So seeds and nuts are actually better with your vegetables and your greens and your salad and your savory stuff. You don't need anything with fruit. You don't need to add it to your smoothies. Just have the smoothie. It's going to be so much easier for your insulin to get the sugar into your cells to use for energy. When you have fat blocking it, it's not as ideal. So I would just stick with the seeds in your evening meals and your salad dressings and stuff like that, and just skip them in your smoothie. That's just my opinion. I've seen it work countless times, and that tends to be the best for the most people. If you work night shifts, how does that work? So you sleep in the day. Number one, night shift is going to play a big role in your aging and how your circadian rhythms flow. So that's going to be something you're going to have to think about, because it is going to contribute to quicker aging because you are sleeping in the incorrect hours. So it's going to mess up your circadian clock. Now, if I was working night shift, I would do the exact same thing. If you're sleeping during the day, you wake up, you have your smoothie, you would just treat it like a normal day, like you would anything. Just wake up, you have your smoothie, and then when you're at work, you have your lunch salad, and then when you get home, you have your dinner before you go to sleep, and then, you sleep, and then you wake up and have your fruit when you wake up. So, because when you wake up, you have not eaten for, say, around 8 hours, 8.5 hours, if you're getting the appropriate amount of sleep, of course. But say you haven't eaten, you haven't drank anything, you haven't eaten anything, you've been fasting basically for 8 or more hours. So first thing in the morning, your body is going to want hydration and it's going to want sugar, because those are the first two things that it wants to help you have a good day, have the energy for the day, have the hydration for the day. So that's what I would recommend and suggest. I was going to put the two words together. Yes, yes. Throw in raw vegan taco and burger for me too. Yeah, yeah, right? So, yeah, you have your fruit in the morning, you get your energy 4 in the morning, and then you have your raw burger for lunch, you have your tostadas for dinner, you have all your savory with your fats at lunch and dinner. And it's gonna feel a lot better because when we eat fats, it also grounds us. It lowers your energy because it takes longer to digest, and your body's working on some other things in there with the fats. So it's better in the evening meal because then, you're sitting down, you're having your meal, you're calming down from the day, you're having your grounding fats, you're getting your minerals from your greens, you're getting a lot of magnesium that's going to help with your sleep. So, in the evening meal, it's better to have the fats because that's more grounding. Whereas in the morning, you have your smoothie, you get up and you have so much more energy. You've got that instant glycogen and all that kind of stuff. So definitely, that's how I would set up the day. Um, we have a question on YouTube. What are your favorite sprouts? So for sprouts, Nate and I sprout 4 categories of legumes. We don't sprout. Never, ever, 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 ever sprout red kidney beans, please. Even when you cook them, if you don't cook them properly, you could still get sick because there's something in them that is, it can make people sick and has even cooked. So red kidney beans are kind of one of those ones that we'd never eat red kidney beans at all. So we don't do black beans or bigger beans like navy beans and stuff like that. They take too long to soak, and they're not as ideal raw. So we don't even bother with those ones. But we have 4 categories of legumes that we eat and sprout. So first of all, it's the chickpeas. Chickpeas are amazing sprouted and candleized, which is the freeze thaw method. We talk about that in our Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook, which you can get in the bundle. If you enjoy these lives, if you enjoy learning from us, if you want to learn more, grab the Vegan Health Bundle. The link is in the description box below here on YouTube, or link in my bio on Instagram. Go grab the bundle and get that new ebook that talks about all the raw vegan culinary techniques that we love to use. But candleizing is where you freeze and thaw harder vegetables or sprouts like chickpeas, and it softens them during the thawing process. So they're much better in things like hummus, which we're going to make on Saturday in our community. So for all the school community members, we're making a carrot sprouted chickpea hummus. So you can join the community. Again, if you want the community link on Instagram, send me a DM and I'll send you the link to the community. If you're on YouTube, link is in the description box below. But so there's 4 categories. Chickpeas for one, we sprout. We do all kinds of lentils. So brown lentils, green lentils, red lentils, crimson lentils, French lentils, Spanish lentils, speckled lentils. We do all the lentils. We do mung beans. Mung beans are so easy to sprout. They're very, very fast to sprout, and they're quite high in amino acids for your protein. So we do that. And then we also do all peas. Adzuki peas, I think it's the cowboy peas, green peas. You can sprout those as well or have them fresh. But those are the 4 that we sprout most for legumes. But then otherwise for sprouts, we do all the sprouts. We do broccoli, clover, alfalfa, radish, cabbage. We have like mixes of different kinds of sprouts, and we just love the sprouts. And yes, sprouted lentils are so good, says Pamela, especially if you freeze thaw them. Oh my gosh, the texture is just like they've been cooked. It's so incredible. So we like to add thawed from frozen sprouted lentils to our raw curries, our raw soups, and things like that. And we teach the candleizing technique inside the Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook. And we have recipes for like the tomato onion chana masala. We have a lemon Lebanese lentil soup, which uses the sprouted lentils, frozen and thawed. So there's 55 recipes in the Culinary Techniques ebook. And it's like kind of like a favorites collection. I know a lot of people will be like, why don't you have a favorites collection? Well, now we kind of do, because in the Culinary Techniques ebook, it's 55 of our favorite recipes, showcasing the techniques we teach in there as well. Beluga lentils. Yes, that's another one that we do. The beluga lentils are so good. I really like the beluga lentils. Haven't tried freezing them. If you haven't tried freezing them, try. Sprout them so they have little tiny tails. You don't need long tails for them to be edible. Just when they have a little tiny, tiny, tiny tail, maybe half the size of the bean itself, freeze them, rinse them really well, and then freeze them. We like to freeze them in 1 cup containers so it's easy to thaw just 1 cup. We don't have to thaw a huge bag full. And we usually sprout multiple pounds of sprouts all at once, and then we just freeze them. So whenever we want sprouted lentils, we just take them out of the freezer, thaw them, and they're ready to go. Add them to a salad, add them to a soup. It's just so easy. But to answer this question, what's your favorite sprouts? If I had to pick my absolute favorite ones, number one would be fenugreek sprouts. Those are my absolute favorite sprouts of all. They have a maple celery flavor. They're so good and they're super easy. They're super easy to make. You soak them overnight and you rinse and drain 2 to 3 times a day for a day or two and they're done. They're so easy to make and they sprout very quickly and they're soft. Like when you grab them out of the jar, they're so soft and silky. And I love the maple celery flavor. And plus, the reason I've been eating so many of them, I eat about a cup worth of them nearly every day for hormone balancing. And now I'm in perimenopause. I don't have like huge amount of symptoms from perimenopause. I'm 46, so I'm like right in the middle of it. But I want to support my body through the process. I don't want to have the symptoms. So I'm going to support my body. And that comes from, I think that a cup of fenugreek sprouts a day is an amazing way to help support the hormones as well. So the fenugreek sprouts, I really love radish sprouts because I like that like wasabi mustard bite. I love it so much. So radish sprouts are a big one that I really love. And we have this blend from the sprouting company. If you want a link, send me a DM. It's from the sprouting company. It's like a salad mix and it's such a good mix. It's just a mix of like mung bean, lentil. They have some clover, I think, in there and some radish or whatever, but it's like a crunchy mix and it's so good. So those are some of my favorite sprouts. Grace, hello, Grace. Lovely to see you here on YouTube. Just made it back. She lives in Alaska, so internet and the cold up there. So happy to hear your live chats. Warm lemon water, not using boiling water. Avocado is my fat in my evening salads. Garbanzo bean sprouts for the win. Yes, avocado is a great source of fats in the evening meal, or spread on a wrap. That's really awesome too. So yes, thank you, Grace, for sharing that. So lovely to see you. So lovely to see everybody here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching and enjoying. And yeah, we made our smoothies this morning. Using the cold brewed tea. We used cold brewed hibiscus tea that I made last night. It took literally 10 seconds to get that cold brew going. So all I did was put 2.5 cups, because that's how much water we use for a smoothie for both Nate and I. So 2.5 cups of water, and I put the hibiscus tea in this little tea ball, and I put it in there, and I just left it on the windowsill in the moonlight so it could infuse. And this morning it was all infused, and we just used that water as the base of our smoothie. So it is infused with the hibiscus tea, and you can use any flavor you want. You can flavor it depending on what you're making. If you're making something savory, you could infuse your water with rosemary, sage, thyme, whatever you want to infuse it with. You can infuse it with anything. Just let it sit overnight and then use that water instead of plain water when you're blending smoothies or soups or stews or whatever, because you just adding that extra flavor, that extra bonus little bit of nutrition in there too. So it's a really cool technique. And again, we teach all of our favorite culinary techniques inside the Vegan Health Bundle, which is going right now. And there's only 2 days left to get this bundle. So you're going to want to go and grab it now before it's gone. You pay $49 and you get to download 70 different resources. There's 6 things from Nate and I. We've got our brand new Raw Vegan Culinary Techniques ebook, the sushi book, Nate's cracker book, his new full mast book, Make It Raw 4 that I wrote with Chef AJ, and 3 of our video classes teaching how to make the wraps, how to make the tostadas, and how to make the kale chips. Just our stuff alone in the bundle is valued at $301. But you only pay $49 and you get to download all of that plus everything from everyone else. So go and grab the bundle. The link is in the description box below, and you get to enjoy all of that good stuff. But it's only here for 2 more days. Today, well, today, I don't count today because, by the time people see this, sometimes it's too late. So we have all of Saturday and all of Sunday left, and that's it. And then the bundle's gone. We don't know if we're doing it next year. So go grab the bundle. Also, keep in mind, for those who are waiting for the Ultimate Raw Vegan bundle that's coming in May, the raw stuff that's in this bundle will not be in that bundle. So if you like all the raw stuff, Chris Kendall, Raw Chef Yin, Karen Ramsey, Samantha Salmon, Dr. and Karen Dina, if you like the raw stuff that's in this bundle, get this bundle. Even if it's just the raw stuff you want, it's still worth it. $49, and you get to pick and choose. You can download everything or download just what you want. But $49 for that. All of those raw things will not be in the May bundle. The May bundle will be totally different, totally brand new stuff. So if you like the raw stuff in this bundle, get it now, 2 days left. Can you use water boiled from the kettle? So that's a great question, Tracy. So if you are going to do brewed tea, if you're going to use hot water, I just used regular tap, well, not tap water. From the tap, we have our reverse osmosis. That's why I said that. We have our reverse osmosis on our tap. So I just put the reverse osmosis in there and I just infused the tea. You don't need hot water to make tea. You cold brew it. It just takes longer. That's all. That's why I do it at night and then it's ready in the morning and it takes 10 seconds to do. But if you wanted to use boiled water, what I would do is boil the water and then let it sit for like 15 minutes or whatever to come down to a temperature where you can put your finger in and it's not hot. It's just warm to the touch. You can use that to brew your tea as well. So that is that option we have here. Do you ever cover the sprouts when you store them in the fridge? We use the mesh lid. So they are so they can breathe. Basically, we want nice airflow because if you put sprouts in a container and it's all sealed, it works, but moisture can build up and the sprouts can go bad faster. So what I like to do is just have, Nate has actually, we have this Tupperware with a lid and Nate poked a whole bunch of holes in the lid and that's our sprout container. So we just put the sprouts in that container and we have the lid on top that breathes. Either that or you have your sprouts in a jar and you just leave the sprouting lid with the mesh lid on top and you just put that in the fridge. That way it can breathe, not as much moisture buildup. Nut milk and smoothies, good or better? Always water or tea? Water, tea, or juice, or coconut water. That's all you need in a smoothie. We don't do nut milks in our smoothie. We do a low-fat diet, so any extra fats adds up very fast. And it interferes with insulin, and we're not too big of fans of that. We want our insulin to be strong and working properly, so we don't do nut milks in our smoothies. If you want creaminess in your smoothies, add frozen bananas. That's going to be the best way to get your smoothie creamier, or just add more fiber to it. Like this is a pretty creamy smoothie, and there's no fat in it. So good. Sending love from across the pond in Germany. Hello, hello. It's great to see so many people from all over the world. It's amazing. And anyone can buy the bundle. Link is in the description box below here on YouTube or in my bio here on Instagram. Only 2 days left. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. This has been so much fun. We are going to be live again on Instagram. Not on YouTube, sorry. We're going to be live again on Instagram at 2 p.m. PST right here. We're going to be rolling up some after dark California rolls. Now, these California rolls use the bloomed black forbidden rice that I started blooming about 3 days ago. So it's ready to go. So I'm going to mix the rice, but you can get the recipe inside the sushi book. And the sushi book is in the vegan health bundle, or you can buy it separately if you want to. But there's 160 recipes in the sushi book. And the After Dark Inside Out California rolls are what we're going to be rolling here on the show at 2 o'clock. We're going to be here with Dr. Carrie Henneman because she's in the bundle as well. We're going to be promoting the bundle and having a sushi party. She's going to make carrot zucchini sushi. So that's going to be really fun. And yeah, can't wait to see you in there. It's going to be delicious because we always love our sushi. So good. The filling is going to be young coconut, which is lower fat than regular dried shredded coconut because it's young, it's more hydrating, it's lower in fat percentage. So it's a nice one. What's in your smoothie? So what we did was for this class, you can always rewatch as well. The replay will be up on Instagram and we'll stay here in the live section on YouTube. But what we did was we took 2.5 cups of water and we infused the water with some hibiscus tea. So basically I took 2.5 cups of water. I put the hibiscus tea in our little tea ball here, and I just let it sit on the counter in the moonlight overnight, and it infused. So we used 2.5 cups of infused herbal tea. We didn't use boiling water, just regular reverse osmosis water. We use that as the base for our smoothie. Then we put in 10 medjool dates, 4 bananas, a cup and a half of wild blueberries, 1 whole lime that was peeled. We did about 2 cups worth of frozen fruit, like mixed fruit was peaches, mangoes, pineapple, and strawberry. And then other times we like to add other berries like raspberries or cranberries or something like that to it. And then we had 2 tablespoons of Irish moss gel that we added as well and blended that up. And here's our smoothie. No fats in the smoothie. We do fruit for breakfast, and that sets us up for a wonderful, energy-rich day. It's so good. What other beverages can we drink as raw vegans? What about hot chocolate? You can make a cacao, warm cacao. You can boil the water and let it cool down to about 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and then use that warm water, mix it with a little maple syrup or date syrup with some cacao powder, maybe a little drop of vanilla or whatever, and then have that. That works if you want. There would be, the maple syrup would be the sugar in there. Or you can make a chocolate smoothie, which is one that I really like a lot. We'll just use water. Again, no fats. We don't put fats in, so we don't use nut milk or anything like that. What we do is we do like, this is for 2 people. We'll do maybe 8 or 10 dates, probably 10 dates, about 5 or 6 bananas, a tablespoon of cacao powder or two, a little vanilla extract or vanilla powder is really amazing. And yeah, and then we just blend that with water, maybe some ice to make it kind of frothy. But that's it. Other drinks, coconut water is really good. Regular water is amazing. Infused with maybe tea, you could cold brew. You could cold brew tea overnight. You could do like a liter, and then just drink that as your hydration, your water for the day. That is good, great, or not for the day. You need more than a liter of water a day, but water is great. You can also do carbonated water. We have a soda stream that adds carbonation to the water. It's more acidic on the body, but having it here and there is not a big deal. You can, like I said, you can add lemon juice, or you could add like some chopped cucumbers or mint to your water to flavor your water if you want different flavors. But yeah, those are some of the drinks. Obviously, fruit juices is another one. You could add that as well to a high fiber raw diet. You could also use juice as the base instead of the tea. But we want to use the tea. It gives it a different flavor. It gives it a nice vibe. I really like it. And plus, hibiscus tea, the one that we used, is really high in vitamin C. So that's a really great thing to add as well, because, vitamin C is awesome. So, or you could infuse other herbs. For example, if you are a menstruating woman, having raspberry leaf tea infused like every single night, you could take your little tea ball and put raspberry leaf tea in there with your cup and a half of water or whatever, infuse your water with the raspberry leaf tea and make your smoothie with it. The more often you do raspberry leaf tea, the more it tones your uterus, so that can actually help with cramping on your period and stuff. So it's also good for hormone balance. So you could do that. You could just every single night take 10 seconds, infuse some water with some herbals, whatever herbal. If you're doing like liver stuff, you could do milk thistle. Or if you're doing savory things, you want to use that tea for a savory dressing, just the water. Instead of using plain water, you use water that's been infused with rosemary or thyme or oregano or whatever flavor you want. So that can help as well. Yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, for joining for this wonderful live. We'll be back again at 2 p.m. PST here on Instagram. We're going to be live with Dr. Carrie Henneman. We're going to be having a sushi rolling party together to promote the bundle. So if you haven't checked out the bundle yet, please do so. The link is in the description box below on YouTube, or link is in my bio here on Instagram, and go grab the bundle because it's such an amazing collection of stuff. You're getting 6 things from Nate and I. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. I just woke up, so I have to fix my hair. But thanks so much for joining. I love you guys so much. I'm going to close Instagram right now. Bye, guys. Love you. And yes, here on YouTube. Could you recommend which videos to watch starting out? Ooh, that's a big one. I do have some new to raw. I have a new to raw playlist here on my YouTube channel, so you could start there. You could start with some of the newest uploads. I have different playlists for different kind of struggles. There's like social stuff, there's gut their gas and bloating playlist. There's raw in the winter playlist or cold climates. So it really depends on what you are looking for your raw diet as to where you would want to start with your videos watching on my YouTube channel. But I would start by going to my YouTube channel and click on the playlists and go through the playlists and see if there's a playlist that stands out, like the new to raw one. I think there's like over 100 videos in there. So you could watch that. There's also a playlist on mindset. There's a playlist on all of Nate. It's called Lissa and Nate. It's all of our travels, our hikes, our trips, our road trips, and all that kind of stuff. And so it's like it's more of kind of like a vlog style, documentary style. So you could watch those if you're interested in, the traveling as a raw vegan. Do you ever put chia seeds or flax seeds in smoothie? We rarely do. Rarely, unless we're making someone else's recipe, we don't usually put them in. We save our chia seeds usually for lunch, or it's in our wraps. Chia or flax are in our wraps. So we usually do the chia at lunch. And we just stick to plain old straight fruit in the morning. 1,000 calories of fruit before lunch. That's our goal. And that feels the best. So, yes, thank you so much for joining me here on YouTube. I'm going to sign off, go finish my smoothie. And again, we'll be on or not YouTube. We'll be on Instagram at 2 p.m. PST with Dr. Carrie Henneman. So go grab the bundle if you haven't yet. Link is in the description box below. And I will see you again soon for another live here on YouTube. I love you guys so much. Until then, cheerio.